How y'all doing? Anthony Bolton here. Again, part two of the YouTube series of why black girls matter in education, especially in high school. On my last video, I introduced myself and introduced the problem. Uh, the problem being that black girls are pushed out, misunderstood, and excluded in education. And I talked about just things that I've noticed, the research that I've done, and everything like that. So, like this video, I'm going to talk about what I planned on doing before, like COVID and everything happened, and the strategy I was going to use, and where I was at with the process, and what I found out just from the steps I completed. Um, so, if you can't tell, I'm a big sports guy. I'm actually a football coach at the high school I teach at. I've been playing football all my life. Got to play at the great Hanover College. So, Roll Panthers. So my main concern with how black girls are being treated, in education is how, like, as a parent, how would I feel about this, Like, because a lot of parents, they do not understand, or, maybe not even, haven't even heard of, like, what's going on. And I realized that a lot of people, a lot of the nation, we tend to focus in, we're more reactive than proactive. So we're reactive. So with everything that's going on today, so like George Floyd and things like that happening today, is a reactive thing, which is a system thing that's really been messing up how black people are treated in America. So why not take this time to inform people on the problem and try to be proactive instead of reactive, so we can empower our black queens. So it's not like it's too late and then we're reacting on the you know on the letter end. So the biggest thing for me was just gathering all types of information. So I would research, um, and I came up with a lot of facts that it was interesting that I really didn't understand. And then, like, so for an example, like a random fact that I found out was about a year 2050, 53% of the population would be um, African American women and girls. That's something that you don't think about. It's powerful, and this is like a pressing matter, and that's why, like, all right, we should start taking this a little bit more serious, as these things are, these problems still arise. I gathered like information about like some of the first teachers, especially in the black community prior to slavery, were black women. It's like things like that that makes it more like I'm a history guy. I'm a social studies teacher, so all these things is like I get excited talking about it, and that's why I have to find a way to really calm myself down, because as you can see, I'm definitely not a big plan guy. I want it to be a genuine conversation, and even though we are not like having a back and forth discussion, I want you to feel like, all right, this is not just another guy, another person talk about diversity. It's somebody who's real about it, who's has cousins in the education system, who has um, witnessed the things that I found out it has terms, but didn't pay no mind to it. So let's get into it. My biggest so after I figured out all the information that I needed, um, from research, I went to a professional development. Yeah, so like I was saying, I went to a professional development, and it really gave me insight, and really was a springboard for this research topic and the conversation that I wanted to, put it out there into the world. So the conversation, like the professional development, it was in JC. It was in where my school district was, and really we talked about just really that uncomfortableness, that uncomfortable conversation that you want, like you have with your coworkers who may not understand what black girls or black boys may be going through. And this is where I found out where to find the information at for like so the DMC, like the Data Management Center. It's where you can look up every school district has one of these DMCs, data management centers, where you can look up the numbers and see the differences and see the compare the white referrals from compared to the black ones, and then can even break it down even for as much as you want it. You can break it down as like black girls versus the white girls, the grade level, and everything like that. And it has every school. So they had my school. I researched, and I'm already on the PBS, Positive Behaviors and Solutions in School committee. So like I've seen this data before, but like if you're not on this committee, you may not know where to find this information. So I want to repeat that like every um, school district should have a place where their information, their statistics are, for the public. So if you really wanted to see that information, you really could find it that way. But she really talked about the presenter talked about like the ugliness of the whole situation. It was really like a gut feeling, and even though I feel like I'm one of those teachers who are anti-racist. I still don't see. I really try to tend to all my students, regardless of color. But I really, just being a black man in education, I really tend to try to make sure that those who look like me are comfortable, learning in the learning environment, because so many times they are not. So, so let's get back to the steps. So the steps was gather information. Okay, then I would see what my staff members, my co-workers, classified and certified. So it was clerks, security guards, anybody who had to really saw the kids on a day-to-day basis. And I came up with about 15 questions for the staff members, and I did interviews, conduct interviews, so you get your data. We just ask some questions such as, are you aware of the problem and the statistics based on black girls being disciplined in school? And the thing that you find out is that it's a broad sense. Well, yeah, I know that it's some type of disparity, but I really didn't think I was contributing to it. And as educators, we always like to think that we're doing the best job, and sadly that's not the case. Like I'm big on relationships, and I feel like I'm really. You can ask all my students, I'm very caring. I really care, have their best interest, but it may be times where I'm not the best at it for them. I may not have that best relationship. They may mesh with somebody else. So I interviewed staff members. So I interviewed clerks, teachers, assistant principals, anybody I can really get just to get a feel. And then I went ahead and interviewed students. Got permission, got the consent from their parents, especially since they was in high school. Got the consent, and I asked them about 30 questions. Questions range from like, give me a negative experience you had with a teacher, and like, how does it make you feel? Do you feel like you belong in a school? Do you feel like the environment is built for you to be successful? After those interviews, pile the data. The next step is, after you interview, you are going to do a small sample. Okay, we're not talking macro, we're talking micro. Do a small sample of things for like staff. You give them small professional development where you explain what you are researching, how you want to make a change, and if you're 9 times out of 10, they want to be a part of the change, regardless of what their background is. They may be science, English. I'm a social studies teacher, so at the end of the day, kids win, and that's like a big thing. So gave a small professional development, and talk about the differences between empathetic discipline and punitive discipline. All right, so empathetic discipline is like not asking like what's wrong with you. It's like what made you, do what you did. All right, it's like kind of looking from a trauma lens. You're asking like, all right, I see you exploded in class. Like what's you just don't wake up and explode. Things have to lead up and things has to build up. Pressure, you apply pressure to anything, was it gonna bust pipes or create diamonds? So you want to know like what's going on versus if you don't stop this, you're gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna write you up, and sometimes that works, but nowadays most students don't respond too well to that. So talk about punitive versus empathetic discipline, how we want to address that, how we want to build relationships. Talk about black culture, being like appropriate. Okay, like